Hello dear students. In this lecture we are going to study the second topic in unit number second, that is nature and function of literature. The first topic we have completed, that is literature as an imitation, in which we studied Plato's theory of mimesis and Aristotle's defense of poetry. The very interesting debate of Plato and Aristotle about the nature and function of poetry or literature. Okay. So second topic here is literature as an expression of the writer's personality. Okay. We have understood in the theory of Plato and Aristotle that how literature is imitation of life, and here we'll try to understand how literature is an expression of writer's personality, means how writer's personality is reflected in literature. Okay. Next, we shall try to find out in the next slide. Okay. So every work of literature is intimately connected with the personality of the author who produces it. There is always a man or a woman behind a book. So what means when a writer writes a book, his or her personality is reflected, his experiences or whatever he thinks is reflected in that particular work of literature or the book. Okay, we'll try to understand how literature is personality, or literature is an expression of personality with the views of Hudson, a very important literary critic, and in his book what he says about this particular topic. Okay, so in the second part of some ways of studying literature, some ways of studying literature is the title of the book. The writer is Hudson, and Hudson he talks about literature as an expression of personality. He starts with a much discussed definition of literature by Matthew Arnold. Literature, the definition is literature is the criticism of life. So in the beginning of the second part of his book, Hudson says that what Matthew Arnold talked about literature, what definition he gave. So Matthew Arnold's definition is literature is the criticism of life. It's a very famous definition. Means in literature we find life is mirrored, or writer's life here actually is mirrored. So literature is an interpretation of life, and the writer interprets the life in his own way. So how he has seen in his own way means how he looks at life. Though he expresses the life of the others, but in his own way, means with his own eyes, whatever he has seen, he has observed, and what he thinks about that particular things in the society, what he has observed. Means his own way of thinking at life is reflected in books. So writer gives us a commentary over it in his work. Means he comments on life. It is not his own life in general, life of the other people, but how he looks at life, his vision of life. Particularly here, in other words, we may say that literature is the expression of personality. Means here, in literature we find what writer thinks, or how he looks at life, or what is his vision of life, or what is his view of life to look at. How he thinks of life, and that is reflected in the book written by him or her. According to French epigram, art is life seen through a temperament. Temperament here means nature of the writer, Swabhav. Okay, it means that literary art is an expression of life through the temperament of the writer, and literature mirrors this temperament. Okay, so what nature the writer has, or what is the view of looking at life, is very important when we study a work of art. The mirror the writer holds to the world is the mirror of his own personality. Writer's personality means what? Writer's views, his thoughts, his feelings, what he feels when he looks at others' lives, or when he looks at the society, whatever he observes, what does he feel in his mind, or what does he think in his mind. And as per his thoughts, as per his feelings, he writes. See, his way, his outlook, his view is reflected here. And hence it is necessary to study literature as an expression of personality. Hudson says that a great book is born of brain and heart of the author. Brain and heart means here, brain means here thinking, and heart means mind or feelings. Brain means what is his philosophy of life. When he writes the book, what is his philosophy of life? How does he look at life? That is brain. What does he feel? How does he feel? As a person, how is he? What is his mind? In his heart, what he feels when he looks at a particular incident or particular thing in life. Okay, he has put himself in his pages. So whatever he writes, he puts his own thoughts and his feelings through the life of the others. They partake of his life and are instinct with his own individuality. Therefore, it is essential to know the author in order to understand a work of art. We cannot understand any piece of literature unless we understand and know the author first. Yeah, the one word is missing here. Know the author first. Means we should know the author first. We should know his biography, or here we may say that this is a biographical approach to look at literature. In criticism, we'll try to understand many of the approaches to look at literature, but this biographical approach was it was famous in the 19th century. It means this approach told that when studying literature, writer's personality is very important. So we should study first the writer and then his work. That was the approach. Now this approach is outdated. It's not much important today. Writers life now. In the present era, we find that there are many of the approaches to looking at literature, and in the present approaches, we find that this approach, particularly writer's biography, has become outdated. But yet, what was this? How was this biographical approach was important in the past when we studied literature, or actually, what was it? We'll try to. We are going to, or we are trying to understand. Through the words of Hudson. Hudson suggests us to establish a personal contact with the author, as personal experience is the basis of all real literature. Now, what is personal contact? It does not mean that we should call the writer and phone him, how are you, or how do you live, or what do you feel? No, it's not like that. Okay? Just we have to understand his life. We must read about his life in the pages, and so what is about his experiences, and maybe what he felt, what was the situation at that time, and what the writer felt, or how did he live. So maybe whatever it may be, but his life is important if we want to understand literature, or we are really interested in the study of literature. It's very important, according to Hudson. Hudson remembers famous quote of Milton's quote he has given here. A good book is the precious lifeblood of a master spirit, embalmed and treasured up on the purpose of a life beyond life. It means, thus literature is an expression of life, but it is essential for all to understand the life of the writer first, as literature is lifeblood of the author. The same opinion we can find here, that the Milton is also expressing that Milton also gives importance to life, and he also says that writer's life is very important when we study literature. Okay, in order to judge great verse, one must distinguish between what Carlyle calls genuine voices and mere echoes. He means to say that in great books, the writers speak for themselves. Here, speak should be there, not speaks. Writers is a plural one. It's by mistake here. It is yes is written. Okay, you should remember it, or you should make it correct. Okay, the writers speak for themselves in great books, whereas in an ordinary books they speak on the report of others. Okay. So in the great books, we can find how writer's vision of life or his views are reflected particularly. But in ordinary works, what we find that writer's own views are not reflected. Whatever he listens to from other people, so others outlook he wants to, or what he listens to, or maybe what is reported to him, like a journalist, what do we find? So journalist, what he does, journalist just reports us whatever he has seen. He does not express his own personality. He just objectively look at the things what is happening in the society. So in this approach or in this view, we can find that personality is important, and that's why how does the writer looks at life and the other incident or events happening in society, uh, not from the other's outlook, but in his own way is important. So in the great books, writer's personality is reflected according to Carlyle, and because of that, those books are great and genuine voices. And mere echoes means just they look true, or actually they are not true because they are just reports taken from the others. We must distinguish essential difference between the literature which draws its life directly from personality and experience, and that which draws its life mainly at second hand from contact with the personality and experience of others. Hudson says that there should be sincerity, originality, and genuineness of expressing life in great literature, as without this, literary work becomes lifeless. Means literary work becomes very interesting and lifelike only then when writer expresses his life or his own vision of life, his attitude to look at, or his view of life. Then only that book becomes very important, or it becomes lifelike. Otherwise, if it is not there, or the writer is expressing the views of the others only, he's looking at life through the glasses of others, then it becomes lifeless. He believes, he means here Hudson believes, without sincerity, no vital work in literature is possible. Originality of experience makes literature far more accomplished art, good art, and genuineness of experience imparts to literature quality of authenticity, which is visible only in great works. So great works, why they are great works? They become great works because in great works there is the reflection of writer's personality or experiences, and which gives the quality of authenticity to that particular work. In this way, Hudson suggests us to penetrate as deeply as we can into the personal life of the author. Means Hudson suggests that we should study writer's biography, writer's life. Our reading should be actual intercourse between the author of the book and ourselves. Means, when we understand author's life, actually at that time we also look through our eyes towards the life, and we also try to understand how the writer uh, looks at life, and we also at the same time we also try to understand our own view of life. We also try to compare the writer's view and our view. Okay, so there is a type of intercourse between the author's views and our views, or what author thinks and what we think. So that intercourse should be there when studying a book. We should observe how the world of experience impressed him and how it is interpreted through his personality. While going through a book, we become familiar with the character, outlook, strength, weakness, and accent of the writer's personality. Okay? Thus, we find that the study of literature is actually a study of writer's personality. Hence, one can say that literature is, in fact, an expression of personality. Now, for example, if we find that Milton was a very great writer of the 17th century, and he wrote very famous English epic. Epic means Mahakavya. As you know, in Sanskrit there are Ramayana and Mahabharata, or in Greek also we know Homer's Iliad and Odyssey are there. So in English, Milton wrote great epic, that is Paradise Lost, which is based on the story of Bible. So in that epic, this is there is the struggle of good and evil, means God and Satan. Satan means, Satan, evil power, and God means good power. So here we find that when that Satan or the Saturn, revolts against God in that particular story, and he takes his freedom. Now, Milton himself was very much, interested in his own individuality or individual freedom. He believed, or his philosophy of life was, he gave importance to individual freedom. Means व्यक्तिगत स्वातंत्र्याला खूप महत्त्व देत होता तो. Every person has his own individual freedom, or he has his freedom of expression. Freedom of expression means individuality. Okay, so here in this book Paradise Lost, what Milton does, Milton expresses his own thoughts or feelings through the words of Satan. Sometimes feel that Milton is on the side of, we feel that Milton is on the side of the Satan and not on the side of God. He is on the side of the evil power. So why we feel so? Because whatever Satan speaks in that particular book Paradise Lost, it's very strong language. Satan very strongly defends his own views, what he feels. And here this strong or the power of expressing his thoughts, we can understand this is actually the power of expressing thoughts of the writer himself, Milton himself. So we start comparing Milton and Satan in that particular book. When we feel that this is not Satan speaking, this is Milton speaking through the words of, through the mouth of the Satan. So this happens when we read some of the great works. So Paradise Lost is a very important or a great work of literature. So in some of the great works, we find that how writer's own views or his own personality or his own thinking is reflected through the mouth of the characters, through the dialogues, whatever is described in that particular book. So dear students, I think you must have understood this particular note or this particular topic, that is how literature is an expression of the expression of writer's personality. Okay, so let's stop here.